this holiday of the giving of the Torah, or the reception of the Torah. And I would say that no one else does really, because only we know how to use the Torah. And also, because we're constantly yearning for the reception of the Torah, the true Torah, Torat Emet, meaning the light that reforms one, brings one back to the good, to his source, or the Creator. We want to receive this light every day, and several times a day, meaning every day, as it is written, there is the giving of the Torah, and that is indeed what we feel, and we are constantly aspiring towards that. We're working with that, meaning to pull, to draw every moment as much of the reforming light as we can, and this is our goal. And it's specifically us who receive the Torah and use the Torah according to the plan for which the Torah was given, meaning according to what is written, I have created the evil inclination, as the Creator says, I have created the evil inclination, and I have created the Torah spice, for the light in it reforms one, meaning the Torah was given only in order to correct the evil inclination, making it a good inclination via the reforming light. And who uses it? Who engages in it? Specifically, those people who are, as it is written, also that we've gotten this example from Moses, that the whole people need to be divided into tens, thousands, and hundreds and thousands, and amongst them to study the laws of the Torah, how to connect into a people, how to connect as one man with one heart, and so to discover the Creator through the reforming light which is called Torah. So, when we discuss the Torah, we understand that it's a very special endeavor which binds us directly to the Creator. The evil inclination, our desire, needs to be treated by the reforming light, which is called Torah, and be inverted into a good desire, and in that good desire to give us a sensation, a recognition, the revelation of the Creator to the created beings. And this is the study, the actual study, and the purpose of the wisdom of Kabbalah. And therefore the Torah that we study is, well, it realistically, in practice, binds us to the Creator. And we've talked about this a few days ago, that there are Torah and mitzvot, Torah and commandments, which the Creator disclosed to our forefathers, which is the reforming light is called Torah, and this light affects the evil inclination which the Creator created and gradually corrects it. And these gradual corrections, these incremental corrections, where the light corrects the evil inclination, making it a good inclination from within reason to above reason, it is called the correction of the Torah and commandments, which we need to perform. And we understand that this is possible only by utilizing or following those rules which the Kabbalists have established, meaning that we need to connect and each one helps his friend, and from the love of others we come to the love of the Creator by drawing the reforming light, and He discloses to us all of our 613 desires, Ramach, desires which are above the Chazeh, the Partzuf of the Neshama, Shasa, desires which are below the Chazeh, the Partzuf of the Neshama. And so we correct the entire Kli of the Neshama, of the soul. And in that, or in those Kelim, we receive the revelation of Godhood. We become equal to Him, like Him. As it is written, return, O children of Israel, to the Lord your God. The Torah was discovered by the Kabbalists, those who were in the revelation of the upper light, the Creator, who revealed the upper system. And when they wrote to us of this system, how it operates, and detailed its laws, they wrote, as Baal Sulam explains to us in Histaklut Nimit, in Tes, they wrote it in the language of the branches. They took the spiritual roots and the branches in this world, and in the language of the branches, in those names with which you describe the branches in this world, they detailed spiritual actions which occur in the roots. And so it is understood that Kabbalists write from person to person, from generation to generation. They write it in the language of Kabbalah, the language of the branches. And people who don't know what it's all about, they take this language of the branches and they think it truly details this world or discusses this world. And then, because of that, they begin to engage in corporeal actions. And they began to think that through that they do God's will. And so it follows that you have two Torot, two Torahs. The true Torah, the wisdom of Kabbalah, and the Torah that the general populace are engaged with. It's not that we should belittle it, disregard it, or to show to them that what they're engaged in is not a real correction, because ultimately each individual, each one tries to do what he's capable of on the level he's in. But still, we need to divide it so that it is known to everyone that the Torah is divided, as Baal Sulam writes in all of his articles, that the Torah is divided into two, Torat Or, the Torah of light, and this game theory, you could call it the Torah of the Baal Habaitim, the landlords. So you have the true Torah and the Torah of the landlords, which are opposite to one another. The reason of the Torah is opposite to the Torah of the landlords. The true Torah, Torat Emet, discloses the names of the Creator by connecting the vessels for us, shining the light within them, and we see in the clothing of the light within the Kli the image or the forms of the Creator. And this is within our kilim, our vessels. And by that we achieve adhesion with Him. Meaning the Creator is revealed to people who attain Him. And that is the purpose of the wisdom of Kabbalah, as Baal Sulam writes in the definition of the wisdom of Kabbalah. That it is about the revelation of the Creator to the created being in this world. I can discuss this at length, but this is truly a subject for very deep, detailed research and maybe a long article, which you can write and engage in if you want, meaning what are the two Torahs that exist. But what's important to us is what pertains to us, namely how we value the Torah, how we truly celebrate this holiday of the giving of the Torah, which according to Root and Branch takes place now in the 50 days after the 50th day after the Exodus from Egypt. And we celebrate the reception and the giving of the Torah every single day. So let's read these excerpts that you chose and discuss them. I don't think that it's worthwhile to ask questions about what I've just said now, because I just, told you about a few points which are in me right now, but there are many, many others. The Torah is everything. So please.
Excerpt number 1. This is from Introduction to the Book of Zohar on the Night of the Bride, 125. The night of Shavuot is called the night in which the bride bonds with her husband. This is so because on the next day she is destined to be with her husband under the chuppah, on the day of Shavuot, the day of the reception of the Torah.
And therefore, the night is a very important matter. It's the construction of the vessels, as we learn. And the morning is the zivug, the coupling of these kelim, on these kelim which were prepared at night. And so with you, right now, we are preparing for the reception of the Torah. And so it means that we are all at night, the night of Shavuot, as Baal Sulam explains in the article Night of the Bride. That if a person is truly in exile, he feels that he's in exile, it means that he's preparing himself for redemption. And this is called night, meaning to use the Torah in order to build the vessels so they're ready and built. And then the day comes, morning, and the bride, the Malchut, who is corrected, comes to the chuppah, the wedding canopy, comes to her husband, the Creator, and all of our vessels are ready for connection and adhesion to Him. If there are any questions, then go ahead. If not, let's continue.
Excerpt number 2. This is from the Introduction to the Book of Zohar. The days of the exile are called night, since this is the time of the concealment of his face from the children of Israel. At that time, all the powers of separation of the servants of the Creator dominate. And yet, precisely at that time, the bride bonds with her husband through Torah and mitzvot of the righteous, who at that time are regarded as those who hold the Torah. All the sublime degrees called the secrets of Torah are revealed by them, since this is why they are called those who make them. For they seemingly make the Torah. It follows that the days of the exile are called night, in which the bride bonds with her husband, and all the friends who are the members of the bridal chamber are those who hold the Torah. After the end of correction and the complete redemption, it is written, "For there shall be one day which is known to the Lord, neither day nor night, when in the evening time there will be light." This is why it is written on the next day the bride is to be with her husband under the chuppah. For then Bon will return to being Sag, Ma will be Ab, and Ab is regarded as the next day and a new chuppah. At that time the righteous are called members of the chuppah, who engage in Torah, in whom there is no action, for then it is said, "And the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord." And since those righteous, through their good deeds, raise Bon to being Sag, by their extension of the fear from the past, they are regarded as making this new chuppah. And this is why they are called members of the chuppah.
Yes, well, this is the work which we discussed many times over, and which we need to do, meaning to try to correct ourselves so that we resemble the upper force, and then Ma and Bon become Absag, or upper Abba Ve'ima, and so we correct ourselves. It's a very special state where even the work itself is very special. Just understand that. What is it that we're doing? We're constantly in search in order to locate, to find out in the darkness what work we need to perform from afar, from a distance, from helplessness, from not knowing anything. How do we feel? We don't know what to do, and gradually it becomes more and more clear, and these scrutinies are slow but gradual because the ego constantly confuses us, and this is deliberately so that we get more and more discernments in order to correct the vessel of Adam HaRishon. We need to perform many actions, not as we think that it's just 613 desires we need to correct and that's it. No, every desire is integrated into other desires, and there are so many operations here that you can say that every single moment of even a regular person's life, not Kabbalists, in every moment he performs many actions of correction. And so it rolls on through many, many years and all sorts of operations in inanimate, vegetative and animal and humankind, and until ultimately we come to the end of correction. And what's unique about our time, as you know, that we are the generation of the Messiah, who arrives at the very last corrections. And then Rav Pali Mekabtziel will come, which is the correction of everything. So we want to merit being the sons of her hall, Bnei Chala. The light has been revealed, and we've merited or been awarded with being the last generation, and let's make an effort to do that. And if there are any questions, please go ahead.
About
the state of Shavuot, it's not exactly clear what are the 50 corrections that happened before the reception of the Torah and even before the corrections of the desert, of bestowing in order to bestow. The process is unclear. What is so much to correct here after the transition from the ego, the tzimtzum, and now 50 more corrections for the reception of the Torah, and all of that is even before the 40 years in the desert? If you can clarify. Rav, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm sorry. It cannot be explained, but only to the extent that we come closer and are able to understand what it's about. Meanwhile, it's a few degrees above us, not far, but nevertheless a few stages. And so it's not possible to explain. You can explain only what's on our level, and to a small degree what's 1 degree above. But it's not degrees which are higher than the one above us, because there we can't grasp it, we can't understand it. It's a kind of logic which is extremely different to ours, so much so that we cannot, we don't get it. As it is written, the reason or the logic of the Torah is opposite to that of the landlords, and this inversion is very, very serious with every degree. So even those corrections, which are called the 50 days from the Exodus from Egypt to the giving of the Torah, we cannot understand what it's about. And also, they're not... see, you need to understand, it's not that they're all one stage happening at once and then that's it. That we need to know that this is ahead of us, let us learn of what these 50 corrections mean. No, it's not like that. The Torah is spread over many different, divides into many stages, and we have some degrees which Some are corrected now, some later on, in many different ways. When we come to it, we'll come to it. Please continue.
Christian מלונדון שואל, מה זה אומר לפחד מהעבר?
Chris from London is asking, what does it mean to be afraid of the past?
To be afraid of the past? I don't think that we should be afraid of the past, or to be afraid of anything. Fear is an outcome of the egoistic will to receive, which governs us. And so it follows that I feel fear in it. If I'm adhered to the Creator, I have no fear, not from the past or future or present. I'm whole, I'm complete, and that is what we need. And so the Creator, when He invokes all these unpleasant discernments in us, fears, worries, what does He want? He wants us to run to Him, primarily to be saved from these fears. And then, when we understand that the desire to adhere to Him, that we want Him, even without the fears, and fears can come if I can't adhere to the Creator without them, but it's the best if I yearn for the Creator without any of these external factors, external pressures. And so our work ultimately needs to be above fear. Yes, next.
Christian probably means the last part there in the text that says that the righteous make the new chuppah from their fear of the time that is past. What does it mean from the fear of the time that is past?
They no longer have these fears, but they yearn for the same feelings which for them were as fear. Fear that people are coming against them, troubling them in various ways. They yearn for the same feeling because it helped them to yearn for the Creator. And they want for such feelings to come out of themselves, not because of external factors, but rather on their own to have such an urge to constantly be adhered to the Creator. Then they won't be able to let go of Him day and night. And truly, these fears are wonderful. They're a wonderful thing. As Baal HaSulam writes, that it's a wonder, all of these troubles, I don't exactly remember his words, which are revealed, because it's all revealed as coming from the Creator in order to establish for us examples of the correct kind of yearning for the Creator. Please.
Rav, בהמשך לשאלה של ניב,
Rav, following on Neve's question, understanding that our work is always connection and adding to connection, but now on this night of the bride and all of that, what does that mean to our degree? What should we perceive from that? What should we focus on to do the most correct thing?
Our work isn't just about connection, because connection on its own can be with many aims in mind and take many different forms, and that's not necessarily good. Our connection needs to be a result of our work, which is to draw the reforming light, and for it to give us this connection according to our efforts. We want to connect on our own. We understand that we're incapable of doing so, And this we're hearing from one another. All of these connections, as much as we cry out, and that we're good, we're nice, we want to connect, we want to do good by each other, as much as we talk about all of that, the more we do so, we understand that it won't work. It won't work until we offer a true prayer. And by our efforts, we need to connect, we need to gather our lacks for connection, and then those lacks we need to raise for man. And then from above we receive the power which will connect us. It will know how to connect us, in what manner exactly to connect us, and teach us what to do from there on.
Rav, throughout the week we were working on what you just said, but what's special about this night, about tomorrow morning, Shavuot? What is it to us?
All these holidays are merely indications, nothing more. We don't consecrate the day. Rather, that work, that power which this day symbols. And therefore, on the day of Shavuot, we engage in various forms of the study of the Torah. But truly, the Torah is given every day, and we need to connect to that correctly. I can't tell you that this day is somehow special. There are times which are better or worse, true. But we need to regard this holiday or any holiday as a symbol which we work with in regards to our correction. Please.
רוני, בבקשה.
Rav, we know that we perform corrections from the time that we're born, whether we are aware of it or not. Now, I wanted to ask whether the corrections we make unconsciously, does that include the growth of our ego?
Yes, not just in us, but in every person, in all the people of the world. The ego constantly grows. And so, we're in a different time. The world is opening up. Science and so on, and throughout our lives, the ego constantly grows. Yes, but unrelated to that, we need to, as in our generation, as we're worthy of in this generation, we need to take the Torah and to utilize it because it's ready and prepared, made for this generation, so we can use it in order to correct what needs to be corrected. So it's important for us not to be in touch with the Torah once a year, but every single day to receive the Torah, every day to apply the Torah, every day to demand the Torah. And that is our work. And therefore this holiday is a special symbol for us, a special indication.
Next excerpt. Yes, Gilad, please. Rav, it feels like, especially when you're not here right now, how the light that works in us during the years, and especially now, causes this great maturity in the group, something that never happened before. There aren't many words for this, but when there's a test lesson, Zohar lesson, every moment really, like you once described that we are kind of like sunbathing, the light works on us bit by bit. How can we amplify it? How can we intensify it? Or just say, this is the action, we're on the right track, let's keep going? Or how do we increase the request each time?
You can ask only together. The request of an individual doesn't work. It may even cause damage, cause harm. And even if it does work, it works in a very minimal kind of way and in the wrong direction, meaning one receives direction from above, but this direction, this guidance will bring him through many different confusions. He'll do figure eights until he understands that he needs to connect and find that his request to begin with was incorrect. And so, first of all, we have to scrutinize how to address the Creator, because the matter of this connection is very important, or this contact is very important, and after that, to address Him. Please.
Friends, if you want to ask questions, please already be ready with it. Rav, what does it mean to ask together at the same time, same words?
I can't interpret that right now. That needs to be studied separately. It's not a subject. It's not a topic for this lesson. It's a topic for many lessons. Please. Write it down as a topic for which we need to gather texts, appropriate texts, and to study. Please.
We'll continue to the next excerpt. Excerpt number 3 from Rabash, from three aspects of the Torah. There are 3 aspects of Torah. One, which is called tushia, from the word mateshet, exhausting man's strength. 2, called spice. 3, the light of Torah. The first 2 aspects are the preparation for the reception of the Torah, and only the third aspect is called the aspect of Torah, which is the essence, which is to benefit the created beings. The first 2 aspects are the aspects of corrections of creation.
Yes, so tushia exhausts one's strength, that we can feel on our flesh. The extent to which, or we discover that the Torah is not meant against our ego or will to receive it, and we don't have anything to do with the Torah then, with its absorption, its learning, its corrections. The second is called Torah spice, Torah tavlin, and that's when the Torah corrects us already. It's where we add to our will to receive spices, and then it becomes something which can be used, can be eaten. And the third discernment is the light of the Torah, meaning after we understand what exactly we need to do and in what direction to advance, then we discover that we are within the light of the Torah, inside it, and we can use it for it to correct us and elevate us to the correct degree. And that's how it works. So, Torah tushia, exhausting, or resourcefulness, exhausting one's strength, where we see we're unable to do anything because the Torah affects our will to bestow, and from that, in our will to receive, we find how distant and unrelated it is to the Torah. The next discernment is Torah tavlin, Torah spice, and then comes the light of the Torah, the Torah of light, Torat Or.
Yes, Victor.
Rav,
what is the kind of progress in terms of the spice of Torah? What should we focus on?
the whole matter of the corrections is that we want to correct ourselves so that our intentions and desires will be the right ones, meaning that we'll be able to address the Creator in the right way, and that is called Torah spice, Torah tavlin. Until we establish the correct connection between us, it's called Torah tavlin. When it's organized, sorted out correctly, then the light appears and begins to correct us in action, and this is called Torah Or, Torah of light. Yes? So let's continue.
Excerpt number 4. This is from Rabash, what it means that the world was created for the Torah. Our sages said about this, the Creator said, I have created the evil inclination, I have created the Torah as a spice. In other words, through the skula, the remedy of Torah and mitzvot, a person can obtain the desire to bestow. This is the only way by which one can be rewarded with vessels of bestowal. And our sages said about it, the light in it reforms him. It follows that through the Torah, a person will obtain vessels of bestowal, and then he will be able to receive the Torah, the delight and pleasure that the Creator wants to give the created beings. In this respect, the Torah is called 613 counsels, meaning 613 tips by which one is rewarded with vessels of bestowal. Afterward, once he is rewarded with vessels of bestowal through the Torah, he must receive the delight and pleasure that is found in the thought of the Creator. That delight and pleasure is also called Torah, meaning that at that time the 613 counsels become 613 deposits. This means that in each mitzvah there is a special light.
The Torah is divided into 613 advices, counsels, and 613 deposits. The first refer to the process of correction, where we need to correct ourselves, to invert our will to receive, our vessels of perception to bestowal. We can't replace our matter, which is the will to receive, the will to enjoy, but corrections, we think of them, we have this definition of them, which says that corrections are about the intention. For whom am I working? I can correct all of my desires, the 613 desires which the Creator created, and if I use them for the Creator's benefit, it's called in order to bestow. And if it's for my benefit, it's called in order to receive. And this is the whole matter of in order to receive or in order to bestow. The manner in which I use all of my 613 desires with which I was created. And our entire correction is such that by the reforming light and various actions which we perform in the group, through that we will receive some illumination, a reforming light, a special power, and it will correct our desires in order to be with the intention of bestowal. The will to receive does not change. It's neutral. The Creator created it in such a way, and therefore that's how it works. It's like an animal. It cannot be corrected. But it is possible to train it, to operate like an Adam, a person, human, in order to bestow, like the Creator, in short. And that's what we're doing. We merely acquire the intention in order to bestow, so that I, with all of my desires, I want to determine the direction of these desires so that they're in order to bestow. And how can we do that? We need to learn this in a group. If I try in such a way to relate to the friends, in order to bestow, in order to give, in order to assist, in order to support, then by that I learn what it means in order to bestow, what it means to bestow. And then from the love of the creations to the love of the Creator. That's how I come to a state where we truly understand that in this way we can correct ourselves. Let's correct ourselves. Let's think of how to help one another, how we can operate in here in such a way where we're spiritually inclined, in action, with our hands and feet. And after we do that and we understand, we feel the benefit we get from this, let's move from these actions which we do for the friends to such that we do for the sake of the Creator. And this is different already. It's not on this plane, on the plane of this world. Here we need to establish some sort of relation to divinity. And it takes time to feel and understand, but it's mandatory to, first of all, as it is written, from the love of the creations to the love of the Creator. So, first of all, we need to find success in the relationships between us. Yes.
Excerpt number 5. From what is the preparation to receive the Torah in the work? In order to receive the Torah, a person must prepare himself to have a need called a kli, that the Torah can fill. This applies specifically when he wants to work for the sake of the Creator, for then he encounters the resistance of the body, which yells, "What is this work for you?" But a person believes in the sages, who said that only the Torah can deliver a person from the control of the evil inclination. This can be said only of those who want to be Israel, meaning Yeshar El, straight to the Creator. They see that the evil inclination does not let them emerge from their control. And then they have a need to receive the Torah, so the light of the Torah will reform them.
Questions?
Friends, go ahead. Yeah. Rav.
Yes.
How to prepare the deficiency? How do we prepare the deficiency we need to be accurate for the Torah?
We've discussed this thousands of times. Only through the group, where you see how successful the friends are, they need to show you their success. And this success, you absorb, you are envious, and out of envy you also act and advance.
Thank you.
No.
What's happening?
No more questions. We'll either read again or move to the next excerpt.
Be a little more lively. What's with you?
Exit number 6. From what is the preparation to receive the Torah in the work? Our sages said the Torah exists only in one who puts himself to death over it. We should understand the word exists. What does it tell us? We should interpret this according to what our sages said. The Creator said, "I have created the evil inclination. I have created the Torah as a spice." That is, the Torah should be a spice. In whom is this so, since there is no light without a kli, no filling without a lack? For this reason they said that those who want to put themselves to death, meaning who want to put to death the will to receive for their own sake, and want to do everything for the sake of the Creator, see that they cannot do this on their own. To them, the Creator said, "I have created the evil inclination. I have created the Torah as a spice."
Meaning, here we have prolonged, extended work, and gradual one, where we change our status, our will to receive, our goal, the support we have for the performance of this work. Everything changes on the way. Even to reach a situation where the Torah does not apply, does not exist except in one who puts himself to death over it. What is his self? When do we come to a state where we want to put ourselves to death over it? It takes years. Now we begin to feel that, well, if we truly want to put to death our egoistic desire after many years, but what do we need to ask, what to do? This is the next stage. The next stage of the work is such where we need to establish the correct address, the correct plea, perhaps. And then it's said that the people of Israel side from the work to the Creator. So to put oneself to death and to try to do everything for the sake of the heavens, what does it mean? Of course, we don't want to do it 100%, of course not, but some spark of it is in each and every one. And we do want to succeed in so doing. And whatever may happen, will happen. And it's not important. I want to be in that state which the Kabbalists detail here. I want to be with the intention for the sake of the heavens, to live a life which is entirely aimed at the heavens, at the Creator, towards bestowal. And if we truly understand that we're incapable of this, and we're beginning to discover how these things are completely undoable as far as we're concerned, then we need the Torah, because I've created the evil inclination, it's written. So I understand what this evil inclination is. It leads me astray, drawing me in all sorts of directions. It will never let me connect with the friends and to come to, in order to bestow, to come from the love of the creations to the love of the Creator. It will not allow me. And so, I need to perform a calculation. So what do I do then? Continue, please.
A question. It says in the text, those who want to put the will to receive to death. And my question is, as long as we have these two lines, both the will to receive on the one hand and the intention to bestow, or some sense towards bestowal. So we have this decision point. We have to decide between this and that. So why do we want to put the will to receive to death? Then there's no decision to make.
We do not touch the will to receive. The will, which is all of creation, which the Creator created, we only want to acquire the intention in order to bestow. Before that, there was the tree of knowledge, the creation of all the Partsufim and Olamot, the worlds, and Sfirot, and the emanation of Adam Rishon. Before, there was still no starting point for the correction of the souls. And then this soul reaches the biggest, the greatest stage that it can take, and then its inversion to the Creator is discovered, or is revealed. And this is what we call, I have created the evil inclination. It refers to Adam Rishon. And out of that, we begin to belong to this correction. This system is revealed gradually in every generation. Slowly means gradually. It's not that it's working slowly. It's in gradation. And we're in a generation where it's given to us to know and understand what it means.
Yarganat
Yarganat from Kazakhstan is asking, Dear Rav, it's known that the Torah exhausts man's strength. Is it possible to derive strength from the group so that the Torah gives you strength?
Of course, yes. But not from the group, but rather through the group. These powers, these energies are with the Creator. The power of reception, I've created the evil inclination. The power of bestowal, that's Him Himself. And these two powers operate in reality, and both completely are dependent on the Creator. The Pharaoh is also the rear of the Creator. So it turns out that we have only to ask. And what do we ask for? We come to the group, we come to Alvut, we come to all of these scrutinies, and all of that is only in order to teach us how to ask. Nothing else, because everything is attained only by the power of the Torah. Please.
Edward from Minsk is asking, who is the person who receives the Torah? Where does he receive it from? Where is it kept?
That's what I wanted to talk about. Again, repeat the question.
Who is the person that receives the Torah? We'll find it in a second. Where does he receive it from, and where is it kept?
Who is the person who receives the Torah? It's one who is in a group, in a 10, who's connected with the 10, meaning the 10 to him is that Adam, that human being who's about to receive the Torah. He can't even conceive of how he can receive the Torah by himself. There is no such thing as receiving the Torah by yourself. What does it mean, even, alone? So how will I observe it? I have to approach the Creator. I have to present to Him, as if on a platter, all of our desires, the broken desires, which we want to connect together into one desire, as one man with one heart. And nothing is, we can't succeed in doing that at all. And then we ask for Him to correct it. Give us a light which will reform this kli, bring it back to the good. And that is what we need. And therefore, it can only take place in a group. It can only occur through the request to connect us together, so that we will connect and give the Creator the opportunity to be revealed there, in order to bestow to Him contentment. You always have to complete the sentence, from me to the end of correction, contentment to the Creator. Continue.
Rav, first of all, I would like to ask all the friends in the World Kli to kind of smack their friends a little bit, to wake up everyone, to understand the great opportunity that we have here and the privilege that we have of sitting here together. And I wanted to ask the following. How do we increase the sense of arvut between us, of responsibility, of realizing the moment that we're in, such a special time after such great conventions and such a great awakening that exists, and increase the sense of mutual guarantee?
According to the sleep which is coming upon you, the weariness, I can see that they truly were powerful congresses. According to the heaviness in terms of connecting and even opening your mouth and speaking, it's observable that you've done good work. But this was all in the past. What about today? thanks to your good work, you've received a burdening of the heart. And what do you now do with this burdening of the heart? That's the question. And about that, it's written, meaning what you receive today, you're receiving the opportunity to advance very powerfully, very strongly. Because each one has a problem to open his eyes, it's difficult for him to get up, to do something. He's falling asleep now. It's very good. How all of these seemingly negative discernments which the Creator reveals to us, in us, how do we turn them into positives? I don't have anything else to add. This is the state, this is the place where you need to stand on it and to give a good answer, a determined answer, so that everything follows correctly. Otherwise, it won't happen. If right now you held some party or some special occasion, I'm certain that you'd be more up and about, more lively. But now, you need to sit and read. So we have a problem here. And perhaps we should move on to the article, The Night of the Bride. Or perhaps you want to continue with this.
Maybe just before we move on to a party, first of all, just to say that there's great inspiration from looking at all the groups in the world. They're all full, and that's amazing. The question I wanted to ask really is, what is that hard-hitting answer that we need to give, and to whom? Again, what is that hard-hitting, winning answer that we need to, this winning hit that we need to give, and to whom also? Ask again. Rav, can you hear us? You're on mute. We can't hear you, Rav. Rav, can you hear us?
Hello?
Okay, now we hear you.
Yes, but I'm not hearing you. You're speaking.
Can you hear us if I speak?
I can't hear on my computer. Why is that? Speak.
Rav, can you hear us?
Can't hear.
Can you hear me, Rav? Can you hear us?
מה הם שאלו?
So what are we doing? We're going to do an article or what?
I
asked, and you said you have to give a decisive answer. So I want to ask, what is that decisive answer, and who do we need to give it to?
The decisive answer has to be to the evil inclination, but we send it to the Creator. And the answer has to be that without us getting help from above, that the Creator has to fight our evil inclination, we can't do anything about it. We are as that poor little Moses that is standing there all scared, and the Creator is telling him, "Come with me to Pharaoh." I think we should go to an article because it'll give us more livelihood. It'll have more continuity in there than what we have now. So, please.
We will read in Zohar for All, article on the night of the bride. Book of Zohar, Laila Dekala, article on the night of the bride, item 125. Rabbi Shimon was sitting and studying the Torah on the night when the bride, Malchut, unites with her husband. On that night, after which, on the day of Shavuot, the bride is to be with her husband under the chuppah. All the friends who are the members of the bridal chamber must be with her on that night and rejoice with her in the corrections that she is corrected, meaning to engage in Torah, and from Torah to prophets, and from prophets to hagiographia, and the interpretations of the texts and the secrets of the wisdom, for these are her corrections and adornments. And the bride and her maidens come and stand on their heads, and she is corrected in them and rejoices in them all through that night. On the next day, the day of Shavuot, she comes to the chuppah only with them. And these friends who engage in the Torah all night long are called members of the chuppah. And when she comes to the chuppah, the Creator asks about them, blesses them, and crowns them with the crowns of the bride. Happy are they. Explanation. There are two meanings to it, which coincide. One, the days of the exile are called night, since this is the time of the concealment of His face from the children of Israel. At that time, all the powers of separation of the servants of the Creator dominate, and yet precisely at that time the bride bonds with her husband through Torah and mitzvot of the righteous, who at that time are regarded as those who hold the Torah. And all the sublime degrees called secrets of the Torah are revealed by them, since this is why they are called those who make them, for they seemingly make the Torah. It follows that the days of the exile are called night, in which the bride bonds with her husband, and all the friends who are members of the bridal chamber are those who hold the Torah. After the end of the correction and the complete redemption, as it is written, "For there shall be one day which is known to the Lord, neither day nor night, when in the evening time there will be light." This is why it is written, on the next day the bride is to be with her husband under the chuppah. For then Bon will return to being Sag, Ma will be Ab, and Ab is regarded as the next day and a new chuppah. And at that time the righteous are called members of the chuppah, who engage in Torah, in whom there is no action. For then it is said, "And the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord." And since those righteous, through their good deeds, raise Bon to being Sag by their extension of the fear from the past, they are regarded as making this new chuppah, and this is why they are called members of the chuppah. 2. The night of Shavuot is called the night in which the bride bonds with her husband. This is so because on the next day she is destined to be with her husband under the chuppah, on the day of Shavuot, the day of the reception of the Torah. However, it is the same matter as the first explanation, because on the day of the reception of the Torah, it was already the end of correction, in the form of He will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from all faces. It is, as it is written in the verse, Charut, carved on the tablets. Do not pronounce it Charut, carved, but Cherut, freedom, since freedom from the angel of death has come. However, because of the sin of the calf, they corrupted their correction once again. Thus, the day of the reception of the Torah is the same matter at the end of correction. It follows that on the night prior to the reception of the Torah, all the zivugim of the days of concealment in her ended. And this is why that night is regarded as the night in which the bride bonds with her husband, after which she is destined to be with her husband under the chuppah. This is the holiday of Shavuot, in which there is the end of correction in freedom from the angel of death, which is the time when the righteous, through their good deeds, make a new chuppah for the bride. It is easier for me to continue the explanation in the first form of explanation, and one who scrutinizes will be able to copy the words to the day of Shavuot, since they are the same issue.
הם צריכים להיות דבוקים בשכינה הקדושה, הנקראת כלה, בכל אותו הלילה של הגלות.
All those friends who hold the Torah are called members of the bridal chamber. They need to adhere to the holy divinity who is called bride. Through the whole of the night of exile, it is because then, during the days of the exile, she is connected through those who hold the Torah with all those good deeds and the Torah and mitzvot that they do until she is purified from good and evil. And she is available for those who engage in the Torah.
Hence, those who hold the Torah, the members of the bridal chamber, must rejoice with her over this great correction that was done in the bride through them, and rejoice with her in the corrections that she is corrected, to engage in Torah, meaning in the corrections that come before us. From Torah to prophets, from prophets to Hagiographia, the interpretations of the texts and the secrets of the wisdom, which must be done with gladness. It follows that all those degrees and disclosure of the secrets of Torah, which are the construction of divinity for the end of her correction, are done only by those who hold the Torah during the exile.
Any questions up till now? Please. But to the point, about understanding what is written.
There's a place where it says all the friends who hold the Torah are called the sons of the bridal chamber. They need to be adhered in the holy divinity called bride. So what is a bride and what is a groom?
The groom is a creator. He is called Chatan, the groom, that Nachat is from landing, that he lands in the vessel of the bride, which are the righteous, including Tzvika, that build the vessel called the bride.
So I have the question, is the study of the night of Shavuot really a study? Let's say 3 hours. Is that enough to reach correction? Only the study itself? Or there's something beyond it?
We study according to the same, let's say, orders, framework that Rabash kept, more or less. Morning lesson, that's how it was. 3 hours early in the morning. That's how we try to keep it too. In the evening, there was Tess and Zol. We don't have to study the study of the stensiot in the evening too. We're busy in disseminating. People scatter out all over Israel to teach. I'm sure that is better than us for a person than studying himself. So that's why, more or less, we're doing kind of the same. And the Zohar we do have every evening. On Shabbat, we have an afternoon lesson like Rabash. I'm not about to change anything about that. And we see throughout the years that we're doing it, that I guess that this order is correct. We get used to it, and we see that it works. It's working. Keep going.
That's what I'm asking. He says that all the friends who hold the Torah are called the sons of the bridal maid and have to be adhered in the holy divinity. What does it mean, adhered in the holy divinity?
The holy divinity is called a place to reveal the Creator. The place to reveal the Creator. And we need to be adhered to actions in order to build a place for the Creator to be revealed. Simple. Have nothing to add. All kinds of actions that support revealing the Creator to the created being, which is the essence of the wisdom of Kabbalah. It's its purpose, as Baal HaSulam explains in the article of the wisdom of Kabbalah and its essence, is revealing the Creator to the created being in this world. So that's what we're engaging in. So the revelation itself is called bringing the bride to the chuppah. The connection in the Creator, in the corrected vessel of Malchut, corrected in order to bestow, is called zivug. And then we have the bride and the groom, and the connection between them that we are causing. That's why we are called the sons of the chuppah, of the canopy, of the bride. The vessel we're resurrecting is the vessel of the chuppah. And that's what he will explain now. That's it. More?
Rav, what is the difference between engaging in Torah, holding the Torah, keeping the Torah?
There are a lot of discernments in it, because all stages that we are correcting our vessels, as he says, from Torah to Nevi'im, Nevuim to Ketuvim, the prophets and all those other books, it's all degrees that we reveal during correcting the vessels. Not that it's actual books or forms of study. It's the degrees in correcting the vessels into greater and greater depth. That's why it turns out that we need to make sure it takes place, that we truly correct the whole vessel, and because the vessel is very complex, so we correct it in different ways. In the Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, the words of the sages, and so on. Everything that Kabbalists have written or have helped us realize, it's all in order to correct the vessel, to raise that canopy, the chuppah.
How can we... It feels that in order to build this vessel, to have it, we need to, as if to set up 4 walls all at once. But we're always working on one side, one direction. How can we work on all the things together?
We need to work according to what the Creator is giving us, according to what He's giving. No more and no less. But exactly that. So in every moment, towards each and every one, that some kind of issue is revealed or problem, it is an opportunity that was revealed to add for the completion of the vessel, here to fix something, here to close something, here to raise something, and so on. So we need to relate in that way to everything that happens. And in that way, each and every time, to be more and more in yearning for correction and thanking the Creator for bringing us these corrections. He's revealing the shattered vessels. If He wouldn't, so we couldn't correct it. We couldn't come closer. We couldn't ask for it. We couldn't come close to Him to fill it. We couldn't come closer to Him in order to dwell in there and for us to be adhered in there. So we have to give gratitude for revealing our deficiencies. Our problem is that we think that those deficiencies that are being revealed, it's if it's not good. We want to feel good in the vessels of reception, that's true, and that's how it should be for now. But we have to work on our awareness that what is being revealed in the vessels of reception and is bad, it actually helps us. It pushes us ahead, forward, to connect our connection with the Creator. We talked about it yesterday. It was the subject yesterday. And I also recommend to read article 53 in Shamati, the matter of limitation. Baal HaSulam explains there that it doesn't matter what state a person is in. He could be in that state in perfection. And it could be the worst state possible. He can correct himself and be in the best state. Because it all depends as much as a person justifies the Creator and understands that there is no bad, and it's all revealed in order for upon those desires and thoughts and those fears and anxieties, the Creator specifically then is pulling him to Him. It's like us scaring a baby or a little child. We want him to not move far away from us, to be more connected to us. That's how we have to understand that this is the Creator's connection towards us. And if we get some fear and anxiety, we run away from everything, we just want to get rid of it. No, we can't, we shouldn't get rid of it. On the contrary, we need to relate to this state correctly. And to relate to it correctly is not to erase the disturbances that come from the Creator, because it's not a disturbance, it's help, it's an invitation. And in this way, make a connection with Him. And to say thank you very much. That's a matter of limitation. It's a short article. I recommend you study it. That's it. Well, let's keep reading, or Amnon, please.
The receiving of the Torah, is this a planned thing or something that comes in a way that each one according to his degree, his level, his state?
Each one with his own Torah.
We know that 222 years from now, there will be the end of correction. What will be until then?
Until then, I don't know what's going to be. I hope Gmar Tikkun will be today.
Meaning the reception of the Torah can come to each 10 separately. How do I know I'm receiving the Torah? And that's the question.
According to your desire to correct yourself and to be in connection and be still with the others, you can say that to that extent you want the Torah, because the Torah is what it brings to the others, connection with the others in order to discover the Creator in that connection.
Amnon.
Amnon?
אז מכאן שאני צריך להבין למעשה
So I need to understand from this that certainly it's possible that each one in his level, meaning on his 10, will receive the Torah. could be a group receiving in this date, meaning today it's Hey Besivan, that date, the date of the receiving of the Torah, the night of receiving the Torah. But it's only the date. It's not the truth of receiving the Torah for us.
Of course not. It's a root and branch. It's like there's the matter of receiving the Torah, there's the matter of giving the Torah. It happens with whoever reaches such a degree, but along with that, in our world, according to the calendar on the wall, you know, there used to be calendars on walls. Today it's all in your phone. So according to the days of the year, today we're celebrating, supposedly, the holiday of Matan Torah, of the giving of the Torah. Obviously, this day has nothing special except for what we ascribed this action to this day. That's how it is. That's what Kabbalah is determined. Obviously, that they determined that specifically in this day we'll celebrate the giving of the Torah. It has a big hint, a foundation, that according to the days, weeks, months, years, all these states of astronomy, the moon, the sun, the earth, and everything. So all those forces together, and all the spiritual forces as root and branch, they belong to Matan Torah. But not to think that on this day we have a special light. This light can be every day and a different day, and it doesn't matter between the weekdays or a day that will be, well, different, let's say 2 days from now. And it doesn't matter, no difference. It all depends on the man attaining. The Torah is written towards the person attaining. That's why we need to keep this ritual, this custom, like the root and branch and the day of Shavuot, and we eat dairy and we pray. But by this we don't think that specifically on this day we're going to get the Torah. The Torah we can get in every day, whenever a person, when a person is able and wanting, he is invited. Please.
Another thing is the giving of the Torah has to happen in parallel to the receiving of the Torah.
That's a topic on its own. It's pretty broad. We have to scrutinize a lot of things that belong to that. But it's not the same thing. Just as we hear, the giving of the Torah is from above, from the Creator, and the reception of the Torah is from below, by humans. There has to be a preparation from below, arvut, and more, a few more conditions to be as one man and one heart, to feel ourselves on the bottom of the mountain, and then we're rewarded in receiving the Torah. But the giving of the Torah, it's written that every day you have the giving of the Torah from the mountain of Cholev. But who receives it?
Thank you, Rav.
You're welcome.
Rav, Am Yisrael היה במרגלות ההר.
The people of Israel were at the bottom of the mountain, and they said, we shall do and we shall hear. They accepted the arvut. And after Moses went up to the mountain and got detained there, they sinned with the sin of the calf. Does it show that they did not have any faith? And my question is, can there be arvut without faith?
You're asking questions that are very complicated. I can't answer them shortly because they demand a lot of previous scrutiny. What the state of Mount Sinai is, in what way did it exist, if it ever existed, in time. what does time mean in the true perception of reality? Where are we speaking? Are we speaking about our world as we perceive it in our corporeal vessels? Or are we speaking about the state of Mount Sinai and the giving of the Torah, which exists in spirituality, which is a completely different form and would never take place in our world, but in the upper world? And that's why there's a problem how we can organize these things. A person who wasn't rewarded in receiving some first impression from the spiritual world can't discuss the spiritual world. I'm sorry, but Grandpa, that's how it is. We're young. We'll still do everything, I promise you. We'll have it all.
Rav, what is the reception of the Torah itself? We're speaking of the light. The Torah is light. We constantly work on the light every day. So what can we receive in 2 days, as you said to Amnon?
No, I'm not promising anything in 2 days. Don't mark my words. Receiving of the Torah means that I am willing to receive the light that reforms, and I'm sure that me, myself, I can't make corrections, and I'm sure that only from above I'll receive them. And this light is very important to me. I need it. I want it to correct my vessels, give them the intention to bestow, that it will raise me to the degree of Binah, that I'll be in bestowing. And not that I'll have anything from this. I'll have nothing from this in my vessels of reception, but I will rise above them too in order to bestow. And that is what I'm expecting to happen.
So what's the difference between the work that we do every day to receive the light, and what's the difference between receiving the Torah and the light, the reforms that we are working on every day?
Every day we are making efforts to receive the Torah, the light that reforms. And each and every day, after we will receive it, we will need more of a reception of the Torah, and more of the reception of the Torah, and more to correct vessels that are more corrupt, and more corrupt, and more corrupt. It doesn't end at once. As he explains, that it's not the reception of the Torah was back then and didn't. Well, you have to read that article. Yep. That's it, so we keep going?
I don't know.
So we'll continue the article. It follows that all degrees in the disclosure of the secrets of the Torah, which are the construction of the divinity, are only done by those who are holding the Torah during the exile. Therefore, all those degrees and levels that come out during the exile are called the corrections of the bride and her decorations. These are the ones that it details from Torah to prophets, from prophets to hagiographa, to the interpretations of the text. And in the secrets of the wisdom, Chagat is Torah, Netzach and Hod are prophets, Malchut is hagiographa, Mochin Devak are the extended to her interpretations of the text, and Mochin Degar that are extended in her are the secrets of the wisdom. This is so because all those corrections must be extended to the bride that are the night, which is the bride is completed at the end of correction, which is the day of the chuppah. It was said, the bride and her maidens come and stand on their heads, and she is corrected in them and rejoices in them all through the night. The angels that clothe the Kelim, the Achoraim, the Malchut of the first state are called maidens of divinity. Along with her are the maidens that serve her, and she rejoices them. She is corrected by them. This is why she said, she rejoices in them all through the night, meaning that the entire period of corrections is called night. On the next day, the day of Shavuot, she comes to the chuppah only with them, meaning that on the day of the end of correction, the day of the chuppah, she will be able to enter the chuppah only with those who support the Torah, who built and established her as much as was needed, from Torah to prophets, from prophets Hygrographa.
That's what is happening to us. That if we correct ourselves as the parts of the Shekhinah, we will feel how it clothes in us, meaning the Creator clothes in us. We become Shekhinah, divinity, and this clothing of the Creator in the created beings will happen specifically in us. In effect, we are building the chuppah, the screen. We are bringing the bride, the corrected malchut, in order to bestow an equivalence of form with the Creator. And we cause the Creator, the connection, between the Creator, the bestower, and the will to receive, that will be in order to bestow. And in this way, we bind the light and the vessel, and we're included in it. And we have no other kind of existence except for this imaginary corporeal existence, or as the members of the chuppah.
It is known that the end of correction will not bring anything new with it. Instead, through the upper light of Atik Yomin are the man and the mad. All the zivugim and degrees that came out at that time, the 6,000 years, will gather into the zivug and one great precious level, and by that everything will be corrected. At that time, the bride will go into the chuppah, and the Creator asks about them, about anyone who ever raised man for a high zivug, since he is seemingly sitting and waiting for all of them to assemble. Thus he asks and waits for everyone. And once they gather, the zivug of Rav Pa'alim Mekabtze'el is done. He blesses them and crowns them, meaning they are all blessed and crowned at once. And then, at the end of corrections, they are called the crowns of the bride.
Meaning, after those individual corrections that we complete in pieces, in parts, one after the other, at the end there's the complete zivug of the end of correction, which is the great chuppah, that all of creation comes to the great correction by the light of the end of correction, and it becomes then a place for the revelation of the Creator in its entirety, in all its tarach pieces, 620 pieces.
I have a question about the sentence that's written that all the degrees in revealing the secrets of the Torah, which are the building of the Shekhinah for the end of correction, are only done by those who hold the Torah during the exile.
Yeah.
So it turns out the work in concealment is the best, and you don't even need revelation.
What kind of revelation do we come to? Not the revelation that we were thinking about during the night. Rather, we invert the terms night and day. Then we discover that we are in the day and in contact with the bride. There are not times. Rather, until we change in order to discover that we are already in the end of correction. And it already exists, and there's no matter of changes and times and states as we speak about it, because that's how it comes out in our language, cause and consequence. What can you do? But in effect, the cause and consequence belong to the correction in me, my perception. And once my perception is corrected, then I see that the evil inclination never existed, and all those things never were, and everything is one whole state, and so on and so forth.
So the work in depicting our future state, like we learned about the desired state in the lecture, that's called holding the Torah?
Yes. That is the state. Again, I'm saying, read Article 53 from Shamati, the matter of limitation or restriction. Maybe now, open it up and read it. You have a little bit more time.
You can
probably put it on the screen.
So, Shamati 53, the matter of limitation. So, Shamati 53, the matter of limitation. Shamati, Article 53, the matter of limitation. Ready, okay. The matter of limitation is to limit the state one is in, and not one gadlut, greatness. Instead, one wants to remain.
The meaning, not to one's greatness, it all speaks of spirituality, of course, not corporality, only talking about spiritual discernments, meaning not to desire spiritual greatness, nothing. Whatever it was, that's how it should be, that's how it remains. In the same state I am right now, I will not demand anything more. Again,
the matter of limitation is to limit the state one is in and not want gadlut. Instead, one wants to remain in one's present state forever. And this is called eternal dvikut, adhesion. Regardless of the measure of gadlut one has, even if one has the smallest katnut, smallness, if it shines forever, it is considered having been imparted eternal dvikut. However, one who wants more gadlut, it is considered luxury. And this is the meaning of any sorrow will be surplus, meaning that sadness comes to a person because he wants luxuries. This is what it means that when Israel came to receive the Torah, Moses brought forth the people to the bottom of the mountain, as it is written, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. A mount means thoughts, in Hebrew, hirurim. Moses led them to the end of thought, and the understanding and the reason. The lowest degree is there. Only then, when they agreed to such a state, to walk in it without any wavering and motion, but to remain in that state as if they had the greatest gadlut, and to be happy for it. This is the meaning of serve the Lord with gladness. This is so because during the gadlut, it is irrelevant to say that he gives them work to be in gladness, since during the gadlut, it comes by itself. Instead, the work of gladness is given to them at the time of katnut, so that they will have joy, although they feel katnut. And this is a great work. This is called the main part of the degree, which is a discernment of katnut. This discernment must be permanent. and the Gedlut is only an addition. Also, one should yearn for the main part, not for the additions.
לא שומעים רב? מיוט?
And the additions, we will be given those when it's time for it. It's not our concern. He's saying to us here, Baal Sulam, something extremely fundamental and simple. If you yearn to be as delighted in mercy, Chafetz Chesed, in the state that you're in, regardless of what's happening to you, it doesn't matter what they're doing with you, if you will agree with that state, why? Because you're receiving it from the Creator, because there is no one besides Him. And the worse those states, the more greatness of the Creator you need to add in order to agree with those states. Then it turns out that all the states come so that you will agree in corporeality with what there is and can thank the Creator for spirituality, even if you have nothing, because this spirituality, you're filling it with the greatness of the Creator. Then it turns out that you must have the greatness of the Creator all the time to receive it more and more, and then you're allowed, then you can turn to the Creator and ask for the greatness of the Creator, because without it you cannot stay in Chafetz Chesed, delighted in mercy. Then the Creator is revealed, because it's certain that He arranged all those states for that purpose, and you will receive His revelation, the recognition of His greatness, so you would be able to to sustain the state above reason. Okay? You need to read it a few times, think about it. But this is a very important key to our work. I think that we can say goodbye for now. And we will meet at another time. Schedule update?
Yeah, we have an update on the schedule, so pay attention. Tomorrow morning, Sunday, 7:45 till 8, we have a preparation to the lesson. The lesson will be, again, preparation is 7:45 till 8. The lesson is from 8 till 10 a.m. Israel time. The continuing of the time is with no other change. It's going to be on Svivat Tova too.
Okay. I'm staying with you, but I'm not deciding when I'm leaving, and you continue as usual according to your program. Have a good day and happy holiday.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.